Hello and welcome. Thank you for clicking on the video. Here we're going to have the match, the second of a series me and my opponent Lord Shaftesbury did. This is game 2. You can catch game 1. It was Skaven versus Lizardmen on my channel. Going to be the High Elves for myself versus the Lizardmen once again for my opponent Lord Shaftesbury. Here. Can't remember the name of this map. Really good one though. Is it Proving Grounds? I think it might be Proving Grounds. Anyways, going with Tyrion for myself. I don't know if I consider Tyrion off meta. Certainly not the peak of the high elf meta at the moment. He does really good damage, like as far as his melee stats go, and he has Heart of Averlorn, which is a super nice heal. I suppose his challenge is he is on a horse, his mass is pretty low, so a lot of potential to get stuck. This game I'm going to be trying to pair him with the anti-large fighting noble. This guy doesn't have super high weapon strength, but again, really nice stats as far as melee attack and melee defense, and he can move pretty quickly. So hoping those two can goon out the lizardmen monsters, such as the ancient salamander, the scarvet, and the toad of high magic. The toad of high magic is the reason I don't have a dragon right now. Would love to, but unfortunately, with access to high magic, your opponent's pretty much always going to be bringing it against the high elves. If you have, say, a life mage on a moon dragon, as you often would do as the high elves, and someone shows up with Tempest, it's not an insta loss, but it essentially takes that dragon out of the game. Going to be getting chased down by Tempest and then likely shot up by skinks with javelins, and it's gonna be a bad time. Lyrian Reavers moving up to the objectives, taking 1 and 3, while some chameleon skinks attempt to take objective 2. Going for a mobility build myself, whereas my opponent has more infantry, so really want to get those objectives early and get a lead going while I can. Chariots pushing the chameleon skinks back, juking some shots from the ancient salamanders. My opponent, though, will move into position and likely take objective 2. Definitely going to take objective 1 over there. Spearmen staying well back, want to stay away from those ancient salamanders who can do significant damage to the tight ranks of the elven infantry. Gonna be rethinking my strategy now. My objective 2 is going to be firmly in the hands of the lizards. I don't want to go into the shooting of the chameleon skink cohorts, or ancient salamanders on my infantry. So right now, just kind of moving and juking, trying to figure out what the plan is going to be. Gonna concede objective 1 over there, fall back with my spearmen into the trees here, and form a nice solid position to protect the flank, and posturing in the middle. Do a little fast forwarding here as things build up to a conflict. Going to be going in with the lion chariots here, trying to get some damage early on. Scarvet going to counter, but Tyrion and the noble will go after him. A nice little damage and pullback here, but taking a lot of damage from those javelins from the ancient salamander. Bolt throwers getting called in the back line. Double bolt thrower going to be getting some shots through this alleyway onto the lizardmen single entities. Nice anti-large piece of artillery. Reavers coming in to get some shots off on the approaching lizards. Red-crested skinks coming in. More javelin stick skinks. Shots diving in, but ammunition is getting low for some of those units. Chariots, even with their built-in missile resist for the trace units for high elves, taking a lot of poke just from volume of fire. Dodging the bolt thrower shots, Ancient Salamander is going to pull back. Looks like those shots miss. Objective and map control really solid for my opponent right now. Going to have to find a way to crack this Lizardman tide, this wall of not stinky, slithery, slimy. Probably not slimy. I feel like lizardmen are more of a clean cut lizard. You know what I mean? With that, just their ancientness, they've got a bit of prestige to them. You know, as far as lizards go. Not to shit on lizards, but anyways, Lion Chariot charging in. Nice Shield of the Old One's going to make that not such a scary charge, but the charge is going to keep rolling, moving into Saurus and Javelins, just trying to cause mayhem, but getting stuck up a little bit. Spearmen moving in. Tyrion and the Noble going for a pick on the Ancient Salamander, combined with the fire from the Bolt Thrower, but going to need to pull back. Unfortunately, getting caught in the mass of the Saurus Warriors. That's kind of the issue here with that unit. Cold One Spear Riders, really nice call in from my opponent. Going to be countering the Noble potentially and Tyrion if they can't get out, and looks like they still are stuck. Reaver Fire over here on the flank pouring into the Skinks, falling back though from the Ancient Salamander, which is melting a unit of Spearmen. Tyrion and the Noble trying to pull back now as the mass arrives from the Lizards. Ripperdactyls coming forward. Over here, though, getting a nice little flank while I can. The War Lions, I wouldn't say secret tech, but even though they are an armor-piercing anti-infantry unit, they do really well into Feral Cold Ones and Cold One Spear Riders if they can get a clean charge off while not getting charged back. So a little tricky to use, but can have some nice applications. Ripperdactyl's getting pushed back by Illyrian Reaver Archer Fire. Noble trying to make his way out of there. He's got some lizard trauma at the moment, been getting hit with a lot of sticks and hammers and clubs. On the flank, my opponent is pushing me back as the Chariot is very low. Scarvet is going to get some swings in. Ripperdactyls coming in with Apotheosis for healing. Cold One Riders trying to get the flank on me, come around into my backfield, but War Lions are going to turn away from the infantry and crash down. Reavers will blunt the charge of the Cold One Riders while the Lions get their munches and swings in. Bolt Fire Thrower coming in over the hill, going to do some nice damage into here. Ancient Salamander shot coming in from the skies, getting some nice damage. Probably going to rout those Illyrian Reavers, but overall the fight is going okay. Cold One Riders are really low. Lizardmen leadership is insane, so they do hold. Ripperdactyls coming in, possibly going after the Bolt Throwers. Tyrion and the Noble do get potentially a pick here. Got a lot of HP to work through on those Ancient Salamanders, and really nice buffering by my opponent, getting the red-crested Skinks on top of there to shield me out. Melkoth going down from the Mage of Shadows, who hasn't had any great targets so far, getting the surround on these Saurus Warriors. Might get the break, but again, leadership is insane. Tyrion and the Noble dueling the Scarvet over here, but the buffering of the red-crested Skinks will likely turn that fight to an advantageous one for the Lizards. You can see the Noble getting beat down pretty hard there. Heroes of the High Elves once again trying to pull out. War Lions coming in to buffer again. Lizardmen infantry might be coming around the flank here. We'll see what happens there. Ripperdactyls caught in the woods here by some mass from the High Elves. Lyrian Reavers and War Lions gonna be probably taking them down just by sheer numbers. Over here on the flank, Ancient Salamander, just the chattest lizard of all lizards. Look at this guy, just routing off units on his own, slithering back to the objective to take it all by himself. Gonna need some answer to him, but the attention is drawn to the middle. Damage value is close. I have a slight points lead, but this fight in the middle, the popcorn cohort has got in and is going to be taking my cavalry to Pound Town unless I can get something stronger in there. You can see lots of elven units getting routed. Tyrion and the Noble holding firm. Bolt Throwers doing some nice shots, a little friendly Bolt Thrower shot into Tyrion there. But there's a lot of lizards, going to need some reinforcement to try and salvage this situation. And what do I have coming in? We got War Lions coming in. We got Illyrian Reavers coming in to buffer. There is a unit of Spearmen in there now, so that should even things out quite a bit, especially into the mass of these Feral Cold Ones. Nice Shield of the Old Ones, though, going to be giving a lot of damage buffering to the Lizardmens. Both thrower shots doing some nice damage on the Slan Mage Priest of High Magic, but these Toads do have a lot of health, missile resist, and apotheosis, so it will be able to heal up. Ancient Salamander still dueling these same two units, just off in the corner. These guys beating the crap out of each other. Couple elves and an old old lizard. It is ancient. It is in the name, so it is in fact an old lizard. Looks like Fireborn coming out here, getting nice road blocking by my opponent, trying to get the Saurus to cut these guys off so they can't make it to the all-important middle fight where the action is heated. Scarvet getting low, War Lions tearing apart, Tyrion and the Noble. Where's the Noble? Might be gone, looks like. Nope, still in there with really low HP. Melkos going down on Spear One Riders, just throwing everything we have into this fight here, desperately trying to get control. Let's get a look at this action. Just intense lizard versus elf action going on right now. Don't Google that one. Fireborn diving in here, getting damage onto the Cold One Spear Riders, but Statuette of Spite going down from the Toad, bound ability that does really nice damage into cavalry units. Looks like Popcorn Cohort has come in, and they do have Devastating Flanker, so they might have got the flank off. Gotten a nice damage bonus into the Fireborn, who are getting absolutely melted right now between the AP of the Skinks, Popcorn Cohort, and that damage ability that was popped. Noble coming in on like 2 HP to try and salvage the situation, but full surround happening on the Fireborn right now, and they're likely not going to survive that one. Bolt Thrower Fire trying to take out the Spear Riders, trying to get a sneaky take on Objective 1 there, but not going to get it. Ancient Salamander is still around. Saurus coming in to clean up, and Ripper Dactyls coming in to munch on those Fireborn. Things are not looking good for Tyrion and the gang as they are fully surrounded right now. Fireborn are gone. Mage desperately trying to fight to the king. Is Tyrion the king? I think he's the king of the elves. What would you say you do here, Tyrion? Desperately trying to save him. Doesn't look like he's going to get salvaged. 2 War Lion units going to dive in and try and bring things back. Very close to a triple cap. It is a triple cap for the elves. Things not looking good. Heart of Averlorn is popped. Tyrion does have the potential to anchor a lot of bad situations, but the Colossadon Hunters, the ROR Ripper Dactyls, are getting very close. Popping Toad Rage, a lot of damage going to be coming in on Tyrion now as he is surrounded by scary, scary lizards. The elves desperately trying to get to the king. Oh, but look at the damage. Oh, my God. It's like there was a bug in the code or something, and he goes down. Melted. The High Lord of Ulthuan lost in the bodies. The just mass devastation that was happening there in the middle. One lizard hanging out on top of it. And that's going to be game. Thank you for watching. It was a fun series with Lord Shaftesbury. So thank you for playing those games with myself, and thank you all for watching as we get a peek at the damage values here. Tough matchup for the High Elves. I think there was definitely some more optimal choices I could have made with the army selection. Chariots didn't quite get the damage they needed to clear off the Lizard Infantry. Noble didn't perform too well. Tyrion was an anchor, didn't do a ton of damage though. Slan, even with having no damage spells, getting 1,000 damage from his bound ability is really nice. Ancient Salamanders did okay. But let's see how the juicy units did. Colossadon Hunters got some nice damage. Popcorn Cohort did some nice damage as well. And the Cohort of Sotek, who I mixed in there, did some nice damage as well. Fireborn got kind of hit with everything from the lizards, and that brought them down. Bolt Throwers did really nice, just steady damage. And the Lions did really nice damage as well. Kind of the sneaky MVPs for the elves there. I think some changes I would have made for the build would be dropping the Noble and probably bringing a Fire Mage for Burning Head just to melt through some of the Lizard Light Infantry that were mixed in there. Multiple Mages is a decent choice for the Elves because Mages have an ability for the Elves that give them more Winds of Magic. So kind of when you bring a Mage, it pays for a couple spells for free in terms of Winds of Magic. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Got some more fun games that will be casted here, so stay tuned, and thanks for watching.